even the small ones. But she said, how do you make sure you don't get burnt out whilst you are traveling nonstop? I remember I was in London and my taxi driver was like, oh, what are you doing in London? And I'm like, oh, well, England is one of the countries I'm visiting this year. I'm doing 100 countries in 1 year. Every time I tell somebody, they look at me and they go, what? I'm in Costa Rica right now. Look at the mountains. Look at the mountains. Can you see it? Oh, pretty. I want to travel Central America this winter. How has your experience been with catcalling and men bothering you? I've heard it's really bad there. I don't curse, so you know the B word, resting. In case you don't know, I want to be a film composer. That's what I want to be. I want to be a person who writes soundtracks for movies. So the next question. Would you suggest me to quit my job? So I constantly write down the month and then I write down, okay, I want to go to 100 countries. I'm going to do this many this week, then this many the next week, then this many the next week. And then I'm like, well, I'm not that interested in this country, and this country. So I'll stay there maybe 2 days. Or I'm really interested in a country like Brazil. So I'm going to stay in Brazil a week. But since I'm staying in Brazil a week, I'm going to need to cut down a couple other countries to be a bit shorter. So I'll spend a little bit less time here. Like literally, it's all strategy. And that's all I do all day. I'm constantly staring at it like, okay, I need to go here because then I can go this country, this country, this country, this country. One reason I haven't been to Africa yet is because, yes. So I just filmed another video. That's why I may be in the same location and the same outfit and everything, because I'm filming 2 videos in the same day. But I get a lot of DMs, a lot, and a lot of them are, which I love that you guys like want to talk to me and, you know, actually care about, you know, hearing from me and communicating with me. So I'm not complaining, I love it. But a lot of them are, you guys are asking me for advice on stuff, and I get a lot of the same questions. I realize that my biggest audience here on my Instagram is 18 to 24-year-old females in America. That is my biggest audience. 18 to 24-year-old females. And same thing on my YouTube. We can see our analytics, and my biggest demographic is 18 to 24-year-old females, and I'm 22, so I'm one of you guys, and I've been through a lot for my 22-year-old self. I feel like one day I'm gonna open up to you guys about a lot more of my life and the things that I've been through. Not yet, not ready yet, but you know, there's so many different things that I've been through that I feel like I can help people with. But as far as you guys sending me DMs and asking for advice on things, I feel like I get so many questions. I want to put on my YouTube channel, and so people can refer to these videos, and I'm going to call them AskMJ. So I ask you guys DM me or tweet me hashtagging AskMJ, so I know that I can put your question on my video, and I'm going to give you guys inputs on it. So anyways, I'm going to be answering your questions. I got a ton of DMs here, and I'm just going to be going through them and helping you guys with the advice that I have on the situations you guys feel like you want me to help you with. So if you're interested in watching that video, then keep on watching. Somebody said advice on finding a job in a foreign country. Well, first you have to have a work visa if you have a job in a foreign country. I believe it's illegal to work unless you're on a work visa. So my advice on finding a job in a foreign country would be to already know what job you want to get before you go, so you have everything together. Tons of people get arrested on a daily basis for like working in foreign countries. I know tons of people who got arrested in China for going there to work, and they were on a tourist visa. Yeah, so make sure you have a work visa when you're going to work in a country. I mean, there's some ways around it, but I'm really not sure about them. Yeah, make sure you have a work visa. That would be my advice. Oh my gosh, No construction was happening before I started this video. Someone said, getting used to traveling alone, staying consistent on YouTube, and growing your channel. Getting used to traveling alone. I realize that like I'm a rare type of person. I realize most people, it's weird for them to travel alone, where to me, it was weird for me not to travel alone. Like, it took more time for me to get used to traveling with somebody, where it became natural for me to travel alone, to do most things alone, because I'm a loner type of person by nature. So for me, it's opposite, where it takes me time to learn how to work with other people in every situation than it is for me to travel alone. But advice for traveling alone, if it's not for you, it's not for you. I don't think you should force yourself to travel alone if it's not comfortable, but I definitely think that it's a great idea, because it's a whole different experience than traveling with somebody. Totally different. And I believe that, like, I love the fact that I started off traveling alone, but now traveling is my job and I need help, so I need like assistance. Staying consistent on YouTube, just stay consistent. Treat it like any other thing that you want to grow. You know, if you want a plant to grow, you have to consistently water it, despite of how it's going as well, in spite of how it's going, because I don't know, I feel like that's how things grow. What you nurture grows. Next question. Hey, you inspire me to travel at least 3 months a year in my 20s, but that type of traveling is not normal for my family. How would you suggest me telling them or convincing them that I'll be okay, and explain to them how important it is for me? I do plan on traveling solo for most of the time, and I know that it will be a number one thing that will worry them. Thanks for being you. God bless. Oh, okay. So, you inspire. Okay, let's see here. The first part of the question is, how would you suggest me telling them or convincing them that I will be okay? Please stop construction. Please. I don't think there's any way you can convince somebody that's against traveling that you're gonna be okay, because there's really no way of knowing, you know, like there's no way you can know you're gonna be 100. I realize you can't please everybody, so if it's something you desire to do, then girl, I would advise you to do it. If you can't convince them, which I don't know how you would, because there's no way to know you're safe anywhere, you know. You could be struck by lightning in your backyard. Most car accidents happen within 5 miles of that person's home. There's no way to ensure your safety in this life. So unless you just want to worry about everything, I would advise you to instead worry about nothing and trust to God. That's what I do. So, how's it just me telling them or convincing? Just tell them, you know what I mean? I don't know if you convince them. I don't know your family, so I don't know if there would be a way to convince them. But just do what you want to do, as long as you're not doing something stupid. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you would be knowing if you're doing something dumb. But yeah. I've been watching most of your videos on YouTube, and I must say that I love what you share, and it's amazing. Please, I've been trying to lose weight around my tummy waist. What do you think is best on how to achieve get a tiny waist? Which I don't think is a good idea, because if you're not built to have a tiny waist, then I don't think it's possible for you to have one, unless you like waist train, which I don't advise, or you get surgery. I naturally have a tiny waist. My build, the way I was built. But just because you aren't doesn't mean that you need one. And I don't think there's a way to achieve one if you don't have one. So that answers that. But a flat tummy you can achieve. Anybody can achieve a flatter tummy. I believe that a flat tummy is, you have to eat lots of fruits and vegetables, I believe. There's this saying that abs are made in the kitchen, and everybody has abs. They're just either hidden behind fat or they're not hidden behind fat. And abs are made in the kitchen. It's all about how you eat. Your stomach really shows a person's health. Your stomach shows a lot. People's stomachs who hang over their pants, or people's stomachs who literally sit out, like, you know, sit out, or, you know, a stomach says a lot about your health. So when you're healthy, your stomach will slim down. So I suggest a lot of fruits and vegetables and a lot of water. I drink a lot of water, and water can really detox your body from colon. Your colon can be full of, you know, nasties, and your stomach can be full of parasites and all this nastiness. Less meat, more fruits and vegetables. That would, I would love advice on transitioning to vegan. I'm going to do a full video on that. I suffer with food addictions and eating crappy food all the time, but I truly want to transform my life surrounding food, but I just suffer greatly mentally. P.S. Love you. Love you too. Okay, transitioning to vegan, you're never going to be ready. Ever. You're never going to be like, okay, I woke up today ready to transition to vegan. That's never gonna happen. You just have to do it. You just have to do it. It's not gonna be easy, so don't wait for it to be. My advice would be, don't wait for it to be easy. Don't wait for you to think that there's gonna be a time where your mind or your body's gonna be ready for it. There's not, especially if you've been eating meat your whole life, like most people have. A lot of people weren't raised vegan, so you just have to do it. You just have to. I think mentality, training the mind and having control over yourself is a skill. It's a skill I definitely have gotten better at. I used to have no control over myself. Self-control was something I didn't have at all. Now I have a lot of self-control. And I think self-control comes from you actually doing something and then proving to yourself you can do it. You know what I mean? You have to have trust in yourself that you can do things like I used to say, I want to get up in the morning at 5 a.m. and because I lived in China, and all the Chinese people would get up really early and exercise, and it inspired me. And I said, all right, I'm going to start getting up at 5 a.m. and running 3 miles. And I started doing it. And once I saw, and I proved to myself that I could do something like that, it sounded too impossible to me at one point, you start piggybacking off of that and realizing you can really do anything you want in life. You just gotta do it. So, hey girl, you're so inspiring. I want to travel Central America this winter. How has your experience been with catcalling and men bothering you? I've heard it's really bad there. Well, I don't feel like catcalling and men bothering me has been specific to Central America. If you watch my Italy vlog, it was really bad there. I used to live in Boston, and literally walking down the street every single day in Boston, I literally came to a point where I lived in Boston by myself. My mom, my whole family lives in basically New Jersey, Philly, and I was like, the men bothering me is so bad here in Boston. And my mom bought me some pepper spray, and I've been dealing with that my whole life. It has nothing to do with certain countries, which brings me back to my point that just because you're in a different country doesn't mean you're in danger. There's danger everywhere, you know what I mean? So, but what I would say is just stand your ground. A lot of men tell me that I look very intimidating. So many men have said that to me. Like, I look like somebody that you just don't want to mess with for too long. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some girls that look very, like men will just keep messing with them and keep messing with them and keep messing with them. And I'm not saying you can always control it and keep messing, where men, usually well, sometimes they look at me and they try to mess with me, and then they see and they stop. You know, like, I look like somebody you don't want to mess with because it's all in my face, it's all in my body language. And several men have told me that. And it's called like resting bee faced. I don't curse, so you know the B word, resting bee face. Some people call it, but also it's in my body language. I looked like somebody you don't want to mess with because I'm not. So some men just really are trying to talk to you, you know, like, hi, I want to get to know you. I'll just simply say no thank you, you know. But there are some men who are just like, yo mom, shorty, you got a fat A, you got a you know, like that disrespectful stuff. I don't tolerate it one bit. So I'm very upfront, confrontational person. Very upfront, confrontational. So I don't shy away from anything like that. And I straight up tell them, don't, you know, whatever the case may be, I'm not the person you want to mess with. Leave me alone. And they usually do. There was this time I was in Thailand, and there was these group of boys, and they wouldn't stop, but I realized it was because they were drunk. But they weren't Thai boys, they were white boys, but they were really drunk, and they were like, and try to stay around people, because I realized that they were following me, and I was like getting scared for a second because they wouldn't stop. And usually when I tell men to stop, like leave me alone, they usually do. But I was alone when I was literally walking down the street by myself in Thailand, and then I got hurry up and went to a place where there was other people. And like when I was around the other people, the men kind of backed off a little bit, where if I was alone the whole time, they probably would have consistently followed me. And that happened another time when I was in Boston. I used to work at the AMC movie theaters in Boston, and my shift would end literally at like 12 o'clock at night, and I used to have to close down the movie theaters, which takes forever. And I used to literally get off of work really late, and like it would take me a while to get home. And this one time I used to have to walk down this dark alley every single day. Like I couldn't get around it, I had to walk down it to get back to my apartment. And this guy literally came out of the darkness, and like he was this older black man, and like, not the race, I'm telling you everybody's race, but I'm just showing you that literally it doesn't matter the race, it doesn't matter the country, it doesn't matter the ethnicity. There are people all over the world that are gonna maybe mess with you. But yeah, be around other people. I had to walk down that dark alley every single day, and I was scared every single day, but I would just pray, God protect me, you know, like this person doesn't know who they're messing with, I'm not the one. So, and I've never been, nothing's ever happened to me, nobody's ever touched me, nobody's ever harmed me. So my advice would be, always make sure you're around other people. Never be alone. Never be alone. Like, I mean alone as in you're the only person you can see, you know what I mean? Because when I was in Thailand and those boys were following me, as soon as I got to an area where there were a bunch of people, they stopped, and I told the people, like, these boys are following me and they won't leave me alone, and I'm scared to go back to my hotel because they're gonna follow me and they're gonna know where I'm staying. And then these three men stood up, these Thai men stood up. They were sitting at a bus stop, and they like, the guys like were just like, chill. Like, I'm getting a lot of questions about how I went vegan. I'm gonna do a full video on that as well, but I talked about it earlier. How do you deal with not knowing what to do during or after high school? I know a lot of people are in that situation. I was never a person who didn't know what I wanted to be. In case you don't know, I want to be a film composer. That's what I want to be. I want to be a person who writes soundtracks for movies. If you're new to my channel, you don't know that, but a lot of my vlogs are cinematic and very dramatic, and that's what I want to be. I want to be somebody, I'm a musician. A lot of people don't know that either. I went to school for music. I will return to school for music, but I want to be a film composer, like Hans Zimmer or James Newton Howard, or, you know, Aaron Zigman, or anybody. I want to be a person who writes soundtracks for movies. So that's always what I wanted to be my entire life. I still want to be that. I still am pursuing that. YouTube is helping me a lot. I will return to school next year for it. I will pursue it for the rest of my life until I'm there. But I know my sister's one of those people, or used to be one of those people, who had literally no idea what she wanted to be. My advice would be, everything always works out. So don't worry about it. Don't stress. I hear so many people say, like, if I could go back and tell my younger self something, I would tell myself to not stress so much about the future, because everything's going to be okay. And I just believing everything is going to be okay is very, very important. You don't want to spend your whole adolescence, or you don't want to spend your whole life just worrying and then, you know, about nothing. So there's no way you can force yourself to know what the future is going to be, so don't worry about it, you know what I mean? Yeah, don't worry about it. Just follow your heart. If your heart's not leading you anywhere, then just relax until it does. Or I don't know, because I always kind of knew what I wanted to be, so I was never in that position, but I literally knew tons of people who were. But yeah, my best advice would be just to not stress about it, because literally you are very common and nobody knows. You inspired me so much to travel, so I have some questions. How do you book buses from country to country? I literally don't know how to book anything. Like, do you first book the bus, then the hotel, hostel? It's super easy. Type in, so I'm in Costa Rica right now. Look at the mountains. Look at the mountain. Can you see it? Oh, pretty. It's so pretty here. And I'm gonna be taking a bus to Panama on Friday. So literally what I do, I'm in San Jose, Costa Rica. Literally go to Google, girl. Go to Google, girl. Type in San Jose to, I'm gonna go to Panama City. There will be tons of information. There's so many noises outside. Tons of information on Google about this bus company takes you from here to here. So look at the bus company, make sure it's legit. Look for reviews on it. I've been taking the same bus to every country in South America, so it's called Tica Bus, or Tica Bus, because it's so funny. Every time I get in a taxi, I'm like, can you take me to the Tica Bus station? They never know what I'm saying, and then I say Tica Bus, and they go, oh! Yeah. So just go on Google and type in. There's going to be tons of information on the Googler, and that's what I do. So yeah, I book my bus first so that I know the trip is final. And then I book my hotel on Expedia, because Expedia is what I use to book my hotels, and then I go. Once you're at the bus station, there's always going to be taxis, and you just tell the taxi to take you to your hotel, and it's that simple. So the next question: would you suggest me to quit my job and travel? And how do you plan, but I think they mean plan, your trips, as far as how long you stay and where and when you travel? Thanks, I'm an aspiring tattoo artist and I'd love to do what you do. So, would I suggest you to quit your job? I would never suggest anybody to quit their job. Unless you don't love it and you don't see a future in it, and you really have a desire to do something else, then why not? I would. The type of person I am, I would. So I don't know if you should, but I would. If I didn't love my job and I didn't see a future in it, and I wasn't working toward anything in that avenue, and I really wanted to travel, then I would. For sure. For sure. You know, the number one desire across all humans across the world is traveling. It's the most common desire of every human across the world. It's always traveling. I think that's so crazy. And like, I do it for a living. I can't believe that. It's crazy. So basically, how do I plan my trips? Everybody thinks like I have a travel agent or I have somebody helping me. No, this 100-country journey is all Mary Jane. I figure out everything. I figure out where I'm gonna stay, what I'm gonna eat, where I'm gonna go, what I'm gonna do, how long I'm gonna be there, how long I'm not gonna be there. Everything is done by me. Everything. And I literally write I'm a huge journaler, and I write everything down. So I literally want to visit 100 countries, so I constantly write down the month, and then I write down Okay, I want to go to 100 countries. I'm going to do this many this week, then this many the next week, then this many the next week. And then I'm like, well, I'm not that interested in this country, and this country. So I'll stay there maybe 2 days. Or I'm really interested in a country like Brazil. So I'm going to stay in Brazil a week. But since I'm staying in Brazil a week, I'm going to need to cut down a couple other countries to be a bit shorter. So I'll spend a little bit less time here. Like, literally, it's all strategy. And that's all I do all day. Like, on long bus rides or long flights, I'm constantly stare at a map. The background of my laptop is a map of the world because I'm always staring at it, and I look for pockets of countries all together. So I'm in a great place right now. I'm trying to get my laptop on. I'm in a great place right now because there's a lot of countries where I am, like, too close together. Okay, really, can we X out all this? The background is the map. I'm constantly staring at it like, okay, I need to go here because then I can go to this country, this country, this country, this country. One reason I haven't been to Africa yet is because it's really expensive to travel Africa, especially when you want to go country to country to country. It's not that simple as it is in Europe or like Central America. I could just take a bus. Where in Africa, that ain't happening. You know, it's not in most places. And but I will do Africa next year. I'm not sure about this year yet. I'm definitely doing Egypt this year and Morocco this year, but I'm not sure about the rest of it this year, you know, definitely next year. But I'm always staring at a map, and I'm just, I don't know, I think I was born to do this, so it just comes naturally. But I know that, like, when my siblings were traveling with me, they always would question me, like, how do you do this? They would just look at me like, how do you do this? Like, my brother used to just ask me, like, how did you figure out how to get here and get us here? And how did you figure out how to know this much about this country? And how did you figure out how to know about this and this and this and this? And it's just like, I feel like I was made to do this because it just comes very naturally to me. And there's a lot of adults who can't even do what I'm doing. So what I'm saying is, I hope to one day come out with either an online course or like, I can do seminars teaching people things, but because it's very complicated to try and explain to people. But as far as you traveling, you don't have to do what I'm doing. Just travel for your leisure, you know, like, just to go to the countries that you really want to visit. Everybody has those countries that they're just like, I really, really, really need to go there. I was doing this in Belize. Like, one of my favorite things to do is just walk around and just people watch in the country and just take pictures. Like, just have a camera in my hand and just, like, I did that in Belize. Like, my brother didn't like it because he likes fancy things. He's a very posh boy. He's very fancy and posh. He loved London because, you know, it was very fancy and we stayed in such an expensive, beautiful hotel and we had posh, you know, everything was where I don't mind. You know, I like fancy and not fancy. Where we stayed in a very poor area in Belize, very dangerous, where there's people laying on the side of the road and, like, selling fruit, like, that they just cut off from a tree, and, like, there's, like, dirt on the floor and broke down cars driving by. But, like, I just saw so much beauty in that, and I just walked around and took pictures of, like, you know, a guy with, like, really long dreads and, like, you know, just, like, culture just really fascinates me. And pictures, I love taking pictures and videos and creating, like, you know, being creative. But just do that, you know what I mean? Like, don't worry about you trying to figure out some sort of diabolical plan to get around to so many countries. Like, just start off with a country you've always wanted to go to. I asked the other day on my Instagram, like, what's a country you have to go to before you die? Or if you could go to any country right now, which country would you go to? And so many people said Egypt. And it's just like, so say Egypt is a country you've always desired to go to. Just go. Look up what you got to do. Get your passport, get your visa, look up your hotel, get your flight, and just go. Don't wait for people. Don't wait for the right time. Or, I mean, maybe wait for the right time. But, like, if you can never find it, maybe. I love this girl, Grace, from Instagram. I love her. She just sent me this article. One man shares a memory from every country in the world. And she said, you should do this when you're done 100 countries. It would be amazing. Oh, that's such a good idea. I'm definitely going to do that because I remember every country I've been to very distinctly. Nothing fades off into my memory. I mean, to oblivion. Like, I remember everything about every country I've been to, even the small ones. But she said, how do you make sure you don't get burnt out whilst you are traveling nonstop? I definitely get burnt out. One thing I don't want to do is make what I'm doing look easy, because it's not. Sometimes I just break down crying from being tired or being confused or feeling like I'm not going to make my goal. Or the other day I just thought about when I reach country 100 and I just started crying, like just thinking about it. Like, this has been so hard, so incredibly hard. I'm only 22 and I've only had my younger brother, one of my younger brothers or my sister here with me. Like, I'm on my own doing this, and it's, don't get me wrong, I love it and I love being challenged. So this is great for me. I'm growing so much, I'm learning so much. I'm so grateful to be doing this right now because I think it's going to be amazing for me, and it's something I never forget, and it's amazing. Like, I remember I was in London and my taxi driver was like, oh, what are you doing in London? And I'm like, oh, well, England is one of the countries I'm visiting this year. I'm doing 100 countries in 1 year. Every time I tell somebody, they look at me and they go, what? And they go, how, you know? And people just don't believe it, like, and I can't believe it, and it's amazing. I 100% get burnout. You know, I have 2 more months left. I can't believe I've been doing this since January, just non-stop travel, country to country. I get burnout, girl, just like anybody else in any other job and any other thing. I get burnout. I cry. I have breakdowns. I freak out. I have stress, like, you know, but that's what a journey is. That is what a goal is. What would it be if it wasn't like that? What would it be if it was just easy this whole time? It wouldn't be that rewarding at the end, or wouldn't be, I believe this is going to bring me so many opportunities in life, and I'm going to be able to help people through this, and it's going to give me a crazy story to tell my kids, and I'm going to write a book, and so many amazing things. For something I would always try to do is figure out my next 20 countries. I need to plan out my next 20 countries. Okay, I would try to figure out everything for my next 20 countries, where God literally told me one time, just worry about the next one. Just worry about the next one. Mary Jane, stop worrying about trying to get to the next 50 countries and just worry about the next one. Just worry about getting to the next country. Just worry about getting to that next country. And that's what I've been doing, and it's been taking so much stress off of me. And there's a lot of people who think I'm not going to make. No, I wouldn't say that. There's a lot of people who are like, MJ, do you think you're going to make 100? Like, you're cutting it kind of close. And yeah, I do think I am. I have some tricks up my sleeve. I am totally relaxed. I'm going to make 100, and you guys are going, your mind's going to be blown. That's all I have to do with this video. This video is going to be really long, but I wanted to get through a lot of questions. That was kind of my point. So I hope you guys like this video. I'll be doing these once in a while, and thank you guys so much for contacting me and sending me your questions, and I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.